Okay, and then Jason should be here not too far, hopefully. Ah, Jason, there you are.
Hello.
Good to see you. Have a seat.
Thank you. I'll try to without breaking this.
I mean, if you'd like me to cast Reduce on you or some such, I could do so.
That might be beneficial.
Fair enough. You know what? Reduce.
Oof.
There you go. Nice and easy.
Weird. Fair enough.
Well, I specifically normally have that prepared just because some people have the good old Napoleon complex and their height is a bit of a touchy subject, so showing them that they are no different when they are taller or smaller puts things in perspective. So, how can I be of assistance, considering you would like my services?
It's private what I say to you, right? It's just between you and I, correct?
Doctor-patient confidentiality, after all. We had that little talk at the rack and you understood exactly what I was saying when I said doctor-patient confidentiality.
He removes the cover off his beak.
Ah. Little bit of scuff there.
I'd say about a month ago at this point, I accidentally put a vocal curse on someone born to me. This vocal curse was a word, the name of a group, and the person who I put this vocal curse on accidentally, they got a target on their back because of that. To remove the curse, the group had to take their memories. Pull it out.
I can put two and two together there. I'm not here to judge. This is a place for expressing yourself. Don't feel you've got to hold back.
I had feelings for her, and I was just trying to help her understand the people who attacked her friend. But I immediately became the bad guy, because I did something that I wasn't aware of at the time.
So you made a mistake, and in doing so, jeopardized someone, and
A lot of people.
And what did you do
People
to
that house
rectify
me.
it?
I was told to keep my distance, to not screw anything else up. I wanted to try and help get their memories back, but the people who were close with her didn't like the idea of me possibly screwing anything else up, so
You lost trust, understandable.
they got their memories back, thankfully. But two individuals Jameson and Ethan cornered me in an alleyway. Said that I need to be given a permanent reminder to not do something like that again. Ethan smashed my beak.
And by Zephyrian standards, you surprisingly got away rather light.
This is the first time I've ever had such a severe injury like this in my life.
Understandable.
And I believe, I don't know if it's trauma or PTSD what I'm dealing with, but every time I see him, I just try to hide or avoid eye contact.
That's an ingrained fear response. That's trauma.
I've also been having nightmares since that night. My beak falling off, and Sariel surrounded by papers with eyeballs staring at me. Ethan's mask. Every time I see a mask that even looks similar to his, I have a mini panic attack.
You've definitely gone through a trauma. That's definitely to be said.
Narco's helping me with the nightmares, but still in the waking days, trying to I have a problem. I'm too caring for people. I try and help, and oftentimes, as I've come to learn, it leads to harm for others.
Teach you a lesson in how to do it properly if you'd like.
I'd appreciate it.
Letting people know you care is the first step. Sure, I care. I wouldn't go out of my way to let people know I do so if I didn't. I don't lie to people that are potentially patients. It doesn't help breed the trust in the field. But in my case, I let people seek that care out. Getting close to people and becoming friends with them. Sure, I'm friendly with a lot of people. I'm on decent terms with almost everyone I've met as far as I'm aware. Except maybe Gormander. I think he still wants to kill me. But I digress. Yes, apparently running up to someone and saying, hey, someone has said you need therapy. I'm here to help. It's not exactly the best way to deal with things. See, and that right there is what you're aiming for. See, right there, that second ago, was a tense situation. Yet, injecting a little bit of humor and letting people understand that it's all right to laugh. The absurdity of things. Letting people come to you is the best way to care. It's technically not the best. A lot of people will realize if you're a caring person and come to you for that care, use you for it, and then leave never to see you again. Kind of comes with the territory of being a doctor in my case. Some patients still keep in contact, sure, but not everyone. I don't do as many checkups as I'd like, but that's because people of Zephyra in general are not the kind of people to check up on someone that has helped them unless there's something in it for them. But that's the life I chose. Or the death, I guess. It's kind of interchangeable at this point.
How do you deal with the fact that if you see someone that you care about is hurt,
You have
you
to
wish
accept
to-
it. Were you the cause of them being hurt? In this case, yes. So the question then stands, how can you actually help? Running away from the problem isn't going to do that. To be fair, from what I can tell, she probably doesn't mind. Seems that she's come back to a relatively healthy state. The only one that's really hurt so much might be the other people that were involved. You and the other two. And as much as it's probably a terrifying prospect for you, sitting down with them and talking might help. Don't throw blame, don't yell, scream, raise your voice, but don't be afraid. In Zafira, a beating's a beating. If you take it, you've taken it. It's normally water under the bridge after that. Have you ever seen a bar fight?
No.
The general rules of a Zephyrian bar fight are as long as no one's pulling out a firearm or getting too stabby. If it's just fists getting thrown, everyone will knock each other all over the bar. Fists flying everywhere. But afterwards, when the dust has settled, everyone will pick each other up and buy each other a drink. Violence breeds friendship sometimes, as strange as that sounds. And while it might not be the closest friendship, it's given you an insight into them. You understand that they care as deeply as you do about people, just in a different way of showing it. You have a common ground. Whether or not they would like to talk to you about it, or even hear your side of the story out. Who's to say?
I wouldn't know until I ask.
Exactly. The entire point of coming to me most of the time, when it comes down to therapy, as everyone labels it, is more making a plan of action, understanding what actions have caused what repercussions, where those repercussions have led you to end you in the current situation you're in, and how to change your future actions to negate those previous repercussions, to balance it all out. It's not going to be easy, but, well, the first place to start would be to write a list. Checkpoints. Mark down one for both. Write a name, bullet points. What do you want to talk about? Why do you want to talk about it? What potential topics might they bring up? Could there be violence involved? Just because the situation has passed doesn't mean that they might not harbor some lingering regrets or angers. How can you help abate those? Asking too many questions isn't a good thing, but starting with the can we talk? Or I would like to talk, I don't mean any harm, I want to understand, can we please? If you want to be a bit more verbose about it.
Would it be best to talk to them both at the same time or individually, would you suggest?
Either or. If they want to be together, you're showing the fact that you're letting them be 2-on-1. You're giving them the power again, which is perfectly fine. It shows that you don't mind them having that power over you. In such a way of doing so, you're puffing your chest a little bit. You're saying that it doesn't affect you. Which might be a bold-faced lie. But who knows, by the time you actually steel yourself to do so, maybe you've come to terms. Sitting there and thinking about what ifs and what you could do, and how it all happened, isn't going to do anything for you. Looking forward to what you can do, or might be able to do. That's where you're looking to work on. Plus, even if you get them both talking to you together, as long as you do it somewhere where there's plenty of witnesses that see you go into it, well, you should be fine. Again, I've seen much worse from a Zephyrin justice.
You said she's doing better?
As far as I can tell, she seems like she's getting on with life.
That's good.
As I say to most of my patients, I'm not here to drag you along or to push you forward. I walk beside people. Any and all actions are your own, because if you don't make those actions, it's not going to feel genuine to you. If you stumble, sure, I'll help pick you up again, don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to push you forward or hold you back. You have to set your pace yourself. Another one that I tend to tell people quite often is, have first sight and second thoughts. See what's actually there and think twice about it. They've been upset at you. And with a good reason. They have dispensed their punishment and voiced their displeasure. And whilst you may never be able to be friends with them again, at least clearing the air and letting the dam under the bridge go so the water can flow will help you move past it. As for your beak, I'm, well, not a surgeon, so I can't exactly tell you what to do about that. But some would say wear it as a badge of pride.
For badge of pride?
You took a beating.
For harming an innocent woman.
Through a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, Jason. As you said, you didn't knowingly or willingly set out to endanger her. If you had done that, you wouldn't be sitting across from me right now. Zephyrin Justice is very much on the side of, if someone makes a mistake that egregious and has set out to actually hurt someone, they don't stay around for long. The fact that they understand that you made an honest mistake, that you didn't mean any harm, is the reason you're sitting there right now. And the reason you take your lumps. You stand back up and dust yourself off afterwards. And you wear that badge. It's not a badge of honor that you had to take it, but it's a badge of honor that you did. Perspective is always what matters. Someone could look at that and you will say, I can tell you the story. And I'm like, please. You can say, I hurt someone. And I paid the price for it. And I learned. And from that I've learned to be more careful about myself. To understand my situation. Be aware of what's going on. you wear a lesson on your face that you can help teach others so they don't make the same mistake that you do. Again, perspective. If you are having anxiety attacks and nightmares, though, I can prescribe you some things to help with that, if you're able to take that.
The anxiety attacks, I appreciate. Narco's already helping me with the nightmares.
Understandable. I prescribe Hypnosil. It takes away any dreams. You don't quite feel as rested, but, well, not dreaming at all. Sometimes it's nice, I guess. But as for anxiety,
That's the one thing I have to get over is, like, you've seen Ethan's mask. It's very plain, it's very basic. Anything that's like flat surface, eyes like that, that's the one thing that I'm trying to
okay,
get over.
now
My friend Stemma scared me the other day.
I could say. So, a benzodiazepine would probably be a good thing for you. Since it's elevated, I don't know about your physiology. That's the only difficult part for me. I would probably say lorazepam, Ativan as they over the counter. But I'll tell you what. I'll write it down as a prescription because at least it is normally for you take one when you start having an anxiety attack coming on. When you feel that building up, you take one. It kicks into effect in about half an hour. So at least as the anxiety attack is coming up, you at least don't go up as sharply as you normally would. And then you can normally ride it out. So in your case, as long as you're maintaining regular eating habits and good hydration, let's go with four weeks worth. 28 pills.
Oh, well.
That's assuming it's one a day, but you might have multiple different attacks. I'm not going to judge for that, but the reason I prescribe this is specifically because when you feel that attack coming on, you then have the conscious choice to try and ride it out yourself or to take the medical assistance, to take the pharmacological edge. Eventually, through hope and actual focused use, you don't have to take it at all. The thought won't even come into your head. It's just, I'm getting anxious. You find a coping mechanism that you've developed and you relax into that. You let yourself be washed over by it and let it pass. They are non-addictive as well and shouldn't be too heavy on your system, since if you're going to have to potentially take multiple a day, since they only last half an hour per pill, hopefully you don't need to take multiple, but I can't be sure, so that's me being on the safer side of things.
I mean, the most medication I've ever taken was like headache medication. So
And ibuprofen or paracetamol, understandable. So, Ativan's not a bad medicine. Might make you lethargic, because technically it's a tranquilizer. So, you will relax. I will make sure that all of the instructions of things you should not do whilst on this are written on there. Normally it's operating heavy machinery and the likes like that. The normal, well, I would say medical blurb, but the amount of people that never read it to double check things that they should and shouldn't be doing whilst they're on it. Terrible.
Shame on them.
It's like some people just don't take responsibility for themselves. Your prescription.
Thank you.
As I've said, make a list, bullet points about what you discuss with them. Broach the subject with them first as well. Don't jump on them, don't mob them, don't pressure them. Just, hey, can I talk at some point? You know, just what happened is still on my mind. I'd like to talk about it. I want you to help me. Plus, nothing shows bigger balls than walking up to a person that beats your ass and asking them for help still. Sometimes that's what you need. Their respect. Now, I know it's going to be difficult. But hang in there, okay? And don't forget, my number is always on. Send me a message. I will always respond. You need to talk more, by all means. As it currently stands, hopefully the prescription there will help you get through when you start having panic attacks. And Narco's Narco. I'm sure she will do a wonderful job of making sure you sleep very soundly. Thinking of Narco, though, gets me thinking of Sarah. Thinking I should probably get back to her.
Thank you, Ater.
That's not a problem. Part of the job, right? I'll
So how long is this gonna last?
half an hour. Well,
Okay, this is gonna be weird.
well, I mean, you could stop focusing on it. Otherwise, yeah, it'll stay going for another half an hour if you stay focused. If you stop thinking about it, you'll just pop back up to your regular height. So I wouldn't stop thinking about it in
It's
here.
gonna be hard for me to. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to not focus on the fact that everything is like
A little bit off?
at least
Yeah.
right now.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Anyway, you have
Thank
a
you,
good
Ater.
you have a good time. Make that list. Think about it twice. See what you've written out. Try to think from their point of view as well if you can. Understanding both sides of everything always helps. I'm sure I'll see you around tomorrow anyway. Okay?
Yes. Thank you, friend.
No worries. Have a good day, okay?
Yes.